All right, welcome to Week 4 preseason, worse than 10. My name's Ree Jolly. This is
Keith Shutt.
I'm Daniel Giannis.
welcome back. Wow, Colin Kaepernick.
C-Cap.
Yep. What can we say?
There's a few things we could say.
We don't usually get political here on Worse Than 10, but that's been like the biggest fucking news story this week.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I mean, you guys start.
I don't know. I don't really want to touch this one too much, but
I'll start then.
all right,
Well,
fire
okay.
away.
He's got his rights to his freedom of speech.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
we have our rights to freedom of speech to criticize. But I get it. I get where he comes from, because when I was watching the Olympics, I was sitting down every time they played the national anthem, but I was watching it from my comfort of my couch, which C-Cap will be doing here in a few weeks shortly.
Probably,
He will.
Yeah.
unless he gets traded to Vikings,
Yeah.
Which
which is a
could.
possibility.
Yeah, definitely a possibility.
Or picked up from free agency because he's unemployed.
Regardless, he'll still be just holding a. I mean, he might be starting for the Vikings, but I wouldn't touch that with a.
No, don't draft him either way. I will tell you this though. This Thursday night at 9, he will be playing most of the game because he's not the starter yet for the 49ers.
At San Diego.
Yeah, at San Diego, which is Military Day, surprisingly, or a weird coincidence. So, if he sits down for that one, it's going to be quite a conundrum. There'll be hundreds of soldiers actually holding up a flag on the field at the stadium in San Diego. So it'll be a heartfelt moment if whatever happens. My hat's off to old soldiers in San Diego. We talked about Teddy Bridgewater. He is out with the ACL and a dislocated knee.
It was on a non-contact play too.
Yeah, it was. It was during practice. It was said some of his teammates threw down their helmets and were furious when they saw it happen. So, Vikings, their other players' draft stock. What happens to them? Do you think
Well,
in other people's drafts or people that have already drafted Vikings?
I think Adrian Peterson's stock goes up.
Actually, yeah, I think Adrian.
Do
Peterson's,
you? What about without Peterson? Without Bridgewater? Are they going to stack the box now and make it tougher?
I don't know. Bridgewater wasn't the greatest quarterback. I mean, he had a nice arm, but I mean, let's look at his stats. How many interceptions
Well, we knew
is he
who was going to
throwing?
get the ball. I mean,
Peterson. They've already been stacking the line technically the last 2 years with Adrian Peterson.
Stephon Diggs, almost. I think
that
was
is
just
true.
short of a
That is
1,000-yard
true.
season.
I like him, and
They
think
just drafted Treadwell.
his value may go down a little bit because
They have Kyle Rudolph, pretty good tight end.
Who's the backup? Who's the backup to Teddy Bridgewater?
I'm not even sure. They're
Yeah,
looking. They're looking in free agency right now for a quarterback. I think it might be Sean Hill is the backup right now.
I think Sean Hill is the backup.
Who was a
right?
serviceable backup years ago with the Lions, but today I don't know if that's.
I believe he's
good.
from Kansas. I believe he's from
I don't know.
Fort Scott, Kansas, or somewhere in that area.
But I think for Stephon Diggs, that guy goes down a couple spots.
Yeah.
Maybe not around, but drafting Diggs or the rookie Treadwell, he wasn't even drafted in most leagues.
No.
So, but Diggs goes down a little bit. I didn't draft Peterson, and I won't because of his age. I think this is the year.
Yeah.
I think that every year because he's old.
Right.
But somehow it always happens. Bruce Ellington out for the year with a hamstring tear.
Yikes.
I drafted him in one league. So.
Oh, you did?
yeah, I think it was in the.
And with Kaepernick and this mess, I mean, is there anything worth drafting at the 49ers besides Carlos Hyde?
Yeah,
he is the only thing that's maybe
right now.
a bright spot, and I'm talking maybe round 6.
No, I don't even think there's that many players. I mean, I like Torrey Smith, but you wouldn't get
Torrey Smith, maybe.
Yeah,
but from what, Blaine Gabbert?
I like Blaine Gabbert. You guys must not have watched Blaine Gabbert play much in college.
Last year.
Well, even when he was in
college,
Missouri,
yes.
he was like very
He
accurate.
was great. But he drafted by the Jaguars round 1, and then he looked like shit.
Well, that's because
and they dumped him.
It's hard.
They didn't trade him.
It's hard to move from that college. That's why you always have to be. You have to sit and be mentored for a little bit before you get to that position. But I think he's old enough that he's probably a little bit wiser, and I think he's going to look a lot better than you think. He's looked in the past.
But they're not raving about him there. They're not like, this guy's so
But
great.
Colin Kaepernick has not been great since that half season he played and surpassed Alex Smith. He's always underperformed for every pick he's been in somebody's draft. So
all right. So you're going to draft Blaine Gabbert?
No, but I'm just saying I wouldn't draft Colin Kaepernick either. No. I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between Blaine Gabbert and Colin Kaepernick.
So Carlos Hyde, I think, is the only good thing there. And people are going to be stacking the box against him, too. It's too bad. I had Bruce Ellington as a great sleeper this year. So Tony Romo out 6 to 8 weeks. Broken bone in the back.
That guy needs to retire.
Yeah.
Probably.
He really is.
Dak Prescott, is he even draftable?
Well, I mean, if you ask someone in our league, he is. I don't know. I mean,
we have a guy in our league that's a Dallas fan.
Yeah. I don't really think I'd draft him. But
other than that.
The guy that's named America's team?
Yeah.
No, I really think that, I mean, what does that do to the rest of the players that have great fantasy value?
He's had a great preseason. I think he can get the ball out there. Not as great as Tony Romo, but he can keep people away from the box. Give Ezekiel Elliott some space.
Yeah.
I think it'll knock Ezekiel Elliott down a couple spaces, but not around.
Would you still call him a first-round pick?
Oh, he's definitely still a first-round pick. Yeah. And I think Des Bryant goes down a couple spaces. But Des Bryant's... You're all right, bless you. Des Bryant's got his own problems. He's still in concussion protocol, still coming back from a foot surgery. I'm still worried about him for his own problems from last season.
Yeah.
And I'm still worried about drafting him for his own shit. I would still avoid him in the first or second round.
No, I wouldn't put him in the first. Well, I guess in the next video we'll be talking about booms and busts for running backs and tight ends, as well as a few kind of things we want to talk about with our drafts.
Yeah, our draft that we had this week, and
Keith is gonna give us his take on that as well, even though he's not in that league.
No, but I could see some of the picks.
Yeah,
and Keith will make fun of some things in our draft that we did last week.
Click on the next video, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yep.